All right. So, Musk has been busy. And by busy, I mean he's trying to destroy the government and be Big Brother, all in the same go. And so, for those of you who thought that Trump was going to destroy the deep state, nah, he's creating it. Thank you very much. But let's start with the first article. This from the Washington Post. Musk aides gain access to sensitive Treasury Department payment system. Which, I'm sorry, that right there should chill you. Musk, who hasn't been elected to anything, who hasn't been approved by Congress to do anything, is a rogue agent. Actually, some people are calling him in to the immigration system because he's an illegal immigrant. So, and he has access to everybody's data, every U.S. citizen's data. So, congratulations on you numbnuts for voting Trump into office because Biden did some not so great things. Yeah, this is way better. But anyway, let's get to the article. Billionaire Elon Musk's deputies have gained access to a sensitive Treasury Department system responsible for trillions of dollars in U.S. government payments after the administration ousted a top career official at the department, according to three people who spoke on the condition of anonymity to describe government deliberations. On Friday, Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent approved access to the Treasury's payment system for a team led by Tom Krause, a Silicon Valley executive working in concert with Musk's Department of Government Efficiency, the people said. I don't know why people are still calling it that. I mean, granted, it's in quotes, but still, it's not a department. Departments cannot be just created out of the president's ass. That's not how departments work. David A. Lebrick, who served in non-political roles at Treasury for several decades, had been the acting secretary before Bessent's confirmation, had refused to turn over access to Musk's surrogates. People familiar with the situation told the Washington Post. Trump officials placed Lebrick on administrative leave, and then he announced his retirement Friday in an email to colleagues. And I'm sure that there wasn't any pressure for this retirement at all. No, doubt it. Spokespeople for Treasury and Doge declined to comment. Well, yeah, of course they declined to comment. Treasury because they're scared to death. Or because, Scott Bessent would not approve of it, which doesn't negate the being fired. And Doge, well, they don't feel like, they feel like that they are above the law, so they can do whatever the fuck they want. So why would they answer to media? The sensitive systems run by the Bureau of the Fiscal Service control the flow of more than $6 trillion annually. Tens of millions of people across the country rely on the systems. They are responsible for paying Social Security and Medicare benefits, salaries for federal personnel, payments to government contractors and grant recipients, and tax refunds, among tens of thousands of other functions. So, like someone phrased it, they're the checkbook. They're the country's checkbook. And now Musk has access to all that data, and he could shut off all your payments without a thought. And it probably will be without a thought, because this man is not as smart as people think he is. He's just rich and lucky. But no, he's not smart. Not at all. Typically, only a small group of career employees control the payment systems, and former officials have said it is extremely unusual for anyone connected to political appointees to access them. Unless you're corrupt as shit. Musk has sought to exert sweeping control over the inner workings of the U.S. government, installing long-term surrogates at several agencies, including the Office of Personnel Management, which essentially handles federal human resources, and the General Services Administration, which manages real estate. Doge is now housed in a White House office formerly known as the U.S. Digital Service, but now called the U.S. Doge Service, and has broad visibility into technology across the government. Which again should scare you, because these are people who have not been elected. Congress had no involvement in approving. These are just a bunch of schmoes who happen to be rich and have access to the entire government and have access to breaking things. So, yeah. Trump obviously put everything in place to allow this to happen. But Musk is the one who's going to break things. Musk, who is acting like the fucking president by doing all of this. Actually, he's acting even higher than the president because Trump wouldn't have been able to get away with this. Why is Musk getting away with this? This man should not be this high in government. He wasn't even born in this country. We make presidents be born in this country, and now the richest man in the world, who was not born in this country, has data on every U.S. citizen. What they get in Social Security, their Social Security numbers, who's on Medicare, who's on Medicaid, who basically all U.S. citizens, because all U.S. citizens have a Social Security number. So he has access to everybody's data. I mean, seriously, what could possibly go wrong with that? The New York Times was first to report that Musk's deputies had gained control of the system. And you know who his deputies are? A bunch of kids. I mean, they're the age of my nephews. They're 20-somethings. What the hell? Who have no government experience. I mean, seriously. How can anybody think that this is okay? Except for those who think that because they're rich, that denotes intelligence. The fact that people like Elon and Trump didn't get millions of dollars from their fathers is completely immaterial. They somehow see themselves as better than everybody because they're rich. And it's not like they became rich on their own. They're not self-made millionaires. They got their money from their daddies. And actually, they're billionaires. All right. Democrats have strongly criticized the idea of giving Musk surrogates access to the payment systems. That's such a understatement. They should do more than criticize. To put it bluntly, these payment systems simply cannot fail, and any politically motivated meddling in them risks severe damage to our country and the economy, Senator Ron Wyden, a Democrat from Oregon, said in a letter to Besant on Friday. I can think of no good reason why political operatives who have demonstrated a blatant disregard for the law would need access to these sensitive, mission-critical systems. Because they want to break the government. They want to they want to save money for the government by not giving money that you earned through your hard work. They want to ensure that there are two classes. They want to go back to the times when there were two classes: those who were poor as dirt and had to beg for scraps, and the billionaires who ruled over them. I mean, it's really that simple. They want to go back to a time when they were basically treated like kings, that they could do no wrong, and everybody else just struggled to survive day to day. All right. I believe that is it. I didn't realize the Washington Post had such short articles. But that is the first "this is not going to end well" thing. So hopefully even the Republicans who want to get rid of programs like Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid, whatever, will see just how dangerous it is for Elon to have access to the data of literally every U.S. citizen. I just cannot see how that anybody could see that as a good thing. So that is the first thing that Elon did this weekend. The second thing is more of a breaking our reputation around the world. Now, granted, Trump's already doing that with the tariffs, but Elon isn't helping any. And so this article from NPR says, why does Musk want U.S. aid to die? And why did its website disappear? Well, its website disappeared because they took it offline, but, that's an easy question to answer. All right. It's been a tumultuous weekend for U.S. aid, the U.S. Agency for International Development. On Saturday, sometime after 3 a.m., its website went down, according to the Internet Archive, a nonprofit group that tracks web pages. Some browsers displayed the error message, "This site can't be reached. Check if there is a typo in let's try that again. www.usaid.gov. The agency's account on X, formerly Twitter, has also been deleted. Early Monday morning, Elon Musk, speaking during a live space conversation on X, I wish he was in space, said his Department of Government Efficiency is in the process of shutting down U.S. aid. So just think about this. Think about all the people, even if you question certain foreign aid, even if you question that, basically what you are saying is you don't want the U.S. to have influence around the world, which means that you are perfectly cool with other countries taking over that influence. I assure you that's not going to end well for you, because I don't know what you think is going to improve in this country by us shitting on the rest of the world, but it's not going to be good. All right. Now let's find out what exactly is happening here. On Sunday, Musk wrote on X that U.S. aid is a criminal organization. And I'm sure he gave detailed reasons as to why that is. It needs to die, he wrote. AP reported that workers at the Department of Government Efficiency, or DOGE, stop calling it a freaking department, it isn't, were denied access to confidential documents as U.S. aid on Saturday, and that the Trump administration subsequently put on leave the two U.S. aid security officials who refused to grant access. So basically, people are being fired for doing their jobs well. So, in case you thought that Trump's whole mission wasn't to break the government, yeah. Musk made his early Monday comments during a panel discussion he shared with Senator Joni Ernst, a Republican from Iowa, who had long tried to push for more oversight of U.S. aid. Vivek Ramaswamy and Senator Mike Lee, a Republican from Utah. Musk said he had the support of President Trump, as if that means anything. But the Supreme Court has already decided that presidents are incapable of actually doing crimes. Anything they do is by definition legal. And I'm surprised that Vivek Ramaswamy is still involved in this, considering he's been pushed out because apparently he was too annoying even for Musk. None of this could be done without the full support of the president, And with regard to the U.S. aid stuff, I went over it with him, in detail, and he agreed that we should shut it down, he said. In detail, I wonder if between these two schmucks, they know the first thing that U.S. aid does. I would say no. So don't act like you're an expert on U.S. aid. My question is, why do you think it's a criminal organization and it needs to die? Actually, I'm pretty sure I know. Because you don't want the U.S. to have influence in the world. Maybe you think that these countries that are currently getting foreign aid from us would, I don't know, ask you for money? I'm really confused why you think the U.S. not having influence on the world is a good thing. All I can think of is that it would help Elon. And I can't imagine how this would help him. All right. Online information about U.S. aid, which is responsible for funding aid projects around the world and managed more than $40 billion in federal spending in 2023, is available at a new page that is part of the State Department's website. That page was captured for the first time on January 27th, according to the Internet Archive. There are several items in this U.S. aid section. A drastic reduction of the reports and information on the original U.S. aid government website, which covered the wide range of the agency's portfolio, from humanitarian assistance and global health to education and conflict prevention. Right, because, we don't want people to actually know what the government's doing. Nah, that would make too much sense. The first item that appears on the state webpage is a press release implementing the president's executive order on reevaluating and realigning United States foreign aid. President Trump temporarily halted foreign assistance in that order on the first day of his presidency, writing that foreign aid serves to destabilize world peace. I feel like I'm reading a fucking Mad Lib. It's like these words have meaning separately, but together I question what the hell is happening. The State Department and USAID did not respond to NPR's media inquiries about the website termination and the future of the agency. Well, of course they didn't. I mean, they're being controlled by Trump and Musk, and Marco is probably too scared shitless to say anything against Trump. So, yeah. The move appears... Okay, so what's the fate of USAID? The move appears amid questions about the fate of the aid agency, with concerns in the aid community that U.S. aid may be folded into the State Department or eliminated altogether. The deletion of the website and social media accounts alongside significant layoffs and the near total suspension of work is an effort to dismantle U.S. aid entirely. Jeremy Condick, he is definitely a dick, told NPR. Condick led disaster relief under Obama and the COVID and Mpox responses under Biden at USAID. He's currently president of the aid group Refugees International. All right, so he's a good guy. He actually understands why things need to be done. Like understanding that if pandemics happen elsewhere in the world, that it could end up here. But apparently Trump and Musk don't give a shit about that stuff. They're trying to eliminate the agency, Condick said. Why is that name so hard? They have announced no plan and given no rationale. They're just taking everything down, Condick said. They're trying to do it behind the scenes rather than openly, he said, so they don't have to defend what they're doing in announcements to the public. Exactly. That's why they got rid of the inspectors general. That's why they're doing this over the weekend under the cover of darkness in the hopes that nobody would say, hey, wait a minute, what's happening? Now, all I can say is talk to your representatives, talk to your Congress people, talk to senators, talk to, even call the White House and basically annoy them. I mean, I don't know if that's a thing, but do whatever you can to make your voice heard that this is just not acceptable. Even if they wanted to just reevaluate how aid is being distributed, you don't have to shut down an agency to do that. All right. The consequences of a diminished or erased U.S. aid would be dire, Condick said. Noting that one key component of its programs is to keep outbreaks and epidemics from reaching U.S. shores, which I think we learned from Trump in his first presidency that he doesn't give a shit about that. Because if he did, he would have taken it seriously and done what he could to protect U.S. citizens, but he didn't. Actually, not only did he not care about that, he sent valuable test kits to Putin to make sure he was safe. U.S. aid is enduring an unlawful shutdown, purge, and dismantling, wrote Dr. Atul Gawande, former assistant administrator for global health at USAID, in a post on Blue Sky on Sunday. The dissolution would extend beyond the unlawful destruction of USAID's life-saving work, Gawande told NPR. USAID has become the place where the administration is demonstrating and developing its playbook for eviscerating other targeted agencies. Which wouldn't surprise me at all. I mean, we already see what they're doing with the Treasury Department. The web shutdown comes in the wake of both the stop work order and the furloughing or laying off of hundreds of USAID employees. In his first 2 weeks in office, the Trump administration placed senior leadership at USAID on leave and laid off or furloughed more than 400 contractors in the agency's Bureau for Humanitarian Assistance, and also laid off hundreds more in its Global Health Bureau. Democratic lawmakers in Congress are decrying these actions. The dissolution of U.S. aid would be illegal and against our national interests, Senator Chuck Schumer posted on Blue Sky Friday evening. Senator Chris Murphy said in a post on X on Saturday that the total destruction of U.S. aid was happening as we speak and would be cataclysmic. And, like it's been pointed out, other agencies have been undergoing this. The FBI, Trump is trying to fire anyone who had any involvement in doing their jobs, which just so happened to be investigating him, because he's that thin-skinned that he can't handle that people actually hold him accountable for shit. So he wants to fire them, and the higher-ups are saying, yeah, no, you're good. You don't have to answer this questionnaire. We'll just deal with the blowback. So there are people who are fighting back. I just wish that the Republicans in Congress, because they happen to control Congress, would realize that, you know, Trump wants to be king and he doesn't actually have a need for you. He's just using you so he can get to the point where he can get rid of you. I just hope someone figures this out at some point. The question of the legality of any attempt to change the status of U.S. aid is connected to its origins. The agency was created in 1961 when President John F. Kennedy signed an executive order after Congress passed the Foreign Assistance Act, which mandated the creation of an independent agency to focus on development separate from politics and the military. The agency was formally established by Congress as an independent agency in 1998. So, yes, Congress has to be part of creating departments and creating agencies. So, but, you know, Trump doesn't care about laws. So, yeah. Yeah, this is how you use your executive orders to create agencies after Congress already said they want one. That means it cannot just be undone at this point by an executive order, Conan Dix said. To actually de-establish the agency and dissolve it into the State Department will take an act of Congress, which again, Trump doesn't care about. In the past, U.S. aid has enjoyed bipartisan support, including from lawmakers like Senator Lindsey Graham and Senator Mitch McConnell, he noted. Both people who have been shown to be absolutely spineless. So who knows if they're going to go along with King Donald or if they're going to actually put their foot down. I mean, it happened with the federal freeze, with the freeze of foreign assets. So maybe they'll put their foot down again, and Trump will rescind whatever he's doing. Who knows? At this point, anything's possible. But yeah, things do not look good for the world order, because Trump is trying to destroy everything. The latest on the tariffs is that Mexico is sending 10,000 troops to the border. And so Trump is delaying the tariffs by a month. Which, my question is, why did the Mexican president allow even that concession? Because, I'm sorry, you're only delaying it by a month? How does that help anything? And I don't know how much truth there is to it, because the stock market just did a nosedive because of the tariffs. So it could be that Trump is just saving face. But the Mexican president did acknowledge that this is indeed happening, so I don't know. Of course, tariffs on Canada are still there, even though Canada did nothing wrong, except that Trump has admitted he just wants them to become the 51st state. So, but so Trump wants to destroy another country simply because they aren't willing to give him what he wants. So, yay. So I went a little bit off script, but yeah, that's just frightening. So, let's see. Oh, only a half an hour video. So let me do the next article. Let's pivot away a little bit because this does involve the State Department, but isn't Trump or Elon related. Well, it is Trump related, but not Elon related. Because Marco Rubio is in Panama. And he is spreading the words of his savior, Donald Trump, of we want the Panama Canal because China has too much influence, because poor Marco has to pretend he doesn't know how anything works because Trump doesn't know how anything works. But anyway, to the article. Rubio warns of U.S. action in Panama does not curb Chinese influence around the canal. All right. U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio told the leaders of Panama on Sunday that the Central American country must take immediate action on curbing China's influence over the Panama Canal area, or the United States will get involved. Which isn't how any of this works, but okay. Rubio is on his first overseas trip as America's top diplomat. In addition to Panama, he is scheduled to visit El Salvador, Costa Rica, Guatemala, and the Dominican Republic this week. On Sunday, Rubio spoke with Panamanian President Jose Raul Mulino and Foreign Minister Javier Martinez Acha. He told them that President Trump has made a preliminary determination that the current position of influence and control of the Chinese Communist Party over the Panama Canal area is a threat to the canal, according to a State Department summary of their discussion, adding that China's presence in the canal area breaches a treaty signed by the U.S. and Panama in 1977, ensuring the canal would be neutral and open to all nations. One slight problem, it is open to all nations still. Nobody is keeping the U.S. from using the canal. Nobody's keeping other countries from using the canal. China might have a port in the Panama Canal, but so many other countries do. And the fact that, Trump has determined, Trump doesn't know shit. I mean, he probably doesn't even know anything about the chicken nuggets he eats. I just do not understand why anybody is taking him seriously. Secretary Rubio made clear that the status quo is unacceptable and that absent immediate changes, it would require the United States to take measures necessary to protect its rights under the treaty, State Department spokesperson Tammy Bruce said in a statement. Speaking to reporters, Mulino said his talks with Rubio were respectful and positive, and said he did not feel like there was a real threat against the treaty and its validity, the Associated Press reported. The Panama Canal, which connects the Atlantic and Pacific Oceans, is vital to global trade. The United States is the waterway's biggest user, but other major users include Chile, China, Japan, and South Korea, according to the Council on Foreign Relations. Now, I'm wondering if Melina was talking about that Rubio understands the ins and outs of the treaty, because I truly believe he does. That's why I'm saying that he's just doing this because this is Trump's bidding, not because he truly believes this. Because I still remember there was I think it was definitely his Trump's first run for president when Rubio was also running. And Trump was asked about the nuclear triad, and he did his usual kid doing a book report on a book he never read. But Rubio actually knew what the nuclear triad was, so I have no doubt that he knows what this treaty says and whether there's actually a violation of it, and that it's just Trump that doesn't understand shit. A Hong Kong-based company has managed ports on the Atlantic and Pacific coast since 1997, but there is no evidence the Chinese government controls the canal, the CFR said. However, Chinese companies have been heavily involved in infrastructure projects around the canal in recent years, according to the Center for Strategic and International Studies. Rubio has said that in the event of a conflict, Chinese companies could potentially turn the canal into a choke point. I'm not going to say that's impossible, but why are we working on this may happen, when basically this could turn into a self-fulfilling prophecy? If we keep trying to isolate China as if they're a pariah, won't they try to do the very thing that you say they're going to do? I mean, I really do not know what the solution is. I really don't. But maybe making China pariah isn't the best idea. I mean, maybe because Trump is trying really hard to make us a pariah. I do not know. Trump has increasingly spoken about wanting to retake the canal, claiming that Panama has given control of the waterway to China, which isn't happening. During his inauguration speech last month, the president said, "We didn't give it to China, we gave it to Panama, and we're taking it back." You know, it's funny. It just occurred to me. The very thing that they're so afraid that China's going to do to prevent other countries, including the U.S., from using the canal, I just realized, what if Trump doesn't want to do that himself? Prevent other countries and, make this some sort of money-making venture that other countries have to express allegiance to King Donald in order to use the canal. The U.S. controlled the canal between 1903 and 1977, but President Jimmy Carter signed treaties to gradually give control of the narrow canal zone to Panama. Full ownership was given to Panama in 1999. Because it's literally the Panama Canal. It's located in Panama. I'm not sure why this is such a big shock. It remains unclear what kind of consequences Panama may face if it does not follow suit on Rubio's request. Leyland Lazarus, who studies China's role in Latin America at Florida International University, told NPR that Rubio will have his work cut out because China is a major trading partner across Latin America. Prior to Rubio's trip, Panama's president had already ruled out any discussions over control of the Panama Canal, saying that their conversation should focus on trade and migration. And that is the end of that article, and all I can say is that, is that this worries me because we have ceded Latin America to China because we didn't want to do anything with Latin America except destabilize it. We don't want we don't want to have anything to do with Latin America. We do have some allies in South America, but we want to keep our distance from these shithole countries. That includes Africa. And then we're surprised that China is taking our place. That they're like, okay, well, you don't want to help out these people, we will. And then we are in a state of panic that China is gaining influence around the world. And now we have Elon Musk, who's trying to destroy what aid we give to these countries so China will be able to have even more influence. So we have a reason to go to war with China? I honestly have no idea what the long game is here. Why would you cede influence to China and then say China's influence is bad? I mean, what do you gain from that? So anyway, that is all I have for this video. And with that, I will see you guys in the next one.